So, friends, I thought I would make a little video about something that I do a lot and that some people don't do very often. And that is going on a date with yourself. So, I've traveled to a lot of places all by myself. I went to Buenos Aires by myself because I wanted to dance tango. I've gone to Costa Rica by myself. I've gone to Mexico by myself. I've gone to New York City by myself. I'm gone and lived abroad. And people are often curious, like, how do you do that? And I've traveled also with romantic partners and I've traveled with family. And there's something so amazing about traveling by yourself. But on a small scale, like, times are busy, you have other commitments in your life. What is it like to go on a date with yourself? I think this is really, really important because while you're dating and waiting to meet somebody, you still want to do the things that you really enjoy. Where I live, the snow just fell. I want to go snowboarding. I want to go cross country skiing. Or where you live, a new restaurant opened and you'd love to try it. Or there's a play and it's in its last week of showing. Or there's a wonderful place where you can get in a Japanese steam room and you don't have anyone to go with. So I would encourage you to maybe once a month really set aside time to go on a date with yourself. And it can be something simple. It doesn't even have to cost money. It could be 1 hour reading a book that you've been wanting to read, right? It can be something very basic. It can be going out in public, or it can be something more private. So the first thing that you need to do, I'm going to go through 5 steps. The first thing that you need to do is pick something that you really want to do. Like, think about it. That restaurant you've wanted to try, right? That hike you've wanted to go on, that thing, like, oh, so what I picked last weekend is there's a national park near me where there are redwoods, and once a month they close down the road and bicycles can ride up and down the road, no cars. I love riding my bike on roads without cars. And it's like, who do I want to go with? Do I want to spend a whole weekend with this person? Do I want to spend a whole weekend with that person? Who wants to go with biking and cold weather? Like, the options are limited. So pick something that you actually want to do. And especially if it's something that has a time limit on it, right? It's only happening December 7th, or it's only going to happen for 2 more weeks. And commit to it. Really commit to it like you're committing to doing something with a friend. So the next thing would be you put it on your calendar. Like, you put it on your calendar and you also, like, pay money, right? Put down a deposit, book a hotel, buy a ticket, big or small. Like, it could be something really small, right? So put it on your calendar and commit, like you're actually going to do this. Make yourself as important as any dear friend. You're not going to let anything else come in the way, unless, of course, it's an emergency. But if you get another invitation, I'm sorry about the sirens. A lot of sirens going on right now. So if you get something else, you're not going to cancel on yourself. You're going to treat yourself as well as you would treat a potential date. Number 3 is to, this is the hard one, to commit to doing it for a certain time. So, for example, one of the trips I went on by myself was to Bilbao in Spain because I really wanted to see the Guggenheim there. And I didn't have anyone to go with, so I went by myself. My Spanish at the time was not very good, and I didn't know anyone in Bilbao. And it's an incredibly social city. This was in the summer. Everyone was out and drinking and eating pinchos, those little sandwiches, and talking Spanish and Basque. And, I was alone and at sea. So the third thing that's really important is to make sure you do the thing long enough. So I felt awkward. I didn't know how to elbow my way in and order the sandwiches. I didn't know if I could, like, sit down next to people and share a table. It was very crowded. I didn't know if I should smile and be friendly American or just keep, a neutral face. So obviously I was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable being by myself when everyone else seemed to be partnered up. Another example is, so this weekend I went and stayed in a hotel, and there was a hot tub, and I signed up for the hot tub. So I went and sat in the hot tub, and I was like, I'm sitting in this hot tub all by myself, looking at the stars, and the water is warm and I feel good. But also part of me is like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? There will be some uncomfortable moments. We aren't, as a society in this time, really used to having pleasure by ourselves without technology and without other people. In the US right now, I don't think it's valued nearly enough. So what I suggest and what I do is I say to myself, I'm going to do it for X amount of time. So when I was in Bilbao, I was like, even though this is socially awkward and uncomfortable, I am not going back to my room until 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to eat enough sandwiches so that I can go back at 10 o'clock at night and sleep well. In the hot tub, I'm going to stay here 45 minutes. And even on the bike ride that I did, like I'm going to do the whole bike ride. I'm going to ride all of the miles, come hell or high water. Just like if you were on a date with a stranger, you would last more than 10 minutes, right? You would not immediately be like, oh, this is awkward. I don't feel like I don't know what's going on. I have to leave immediately. You would give them the grace of your presence. And we need to learn how to give ourselves the grace of our presence as well. I'm going to stay here for at least 10 minutes. I'm going to stay for until this time. I'm going to let the clock run out. And I'm sorry, but some of that time you will be uncomfortable. Things will arise. Why am I here all alone? What am I supposed to do? Am I wearing the right thing? This is normal. It's totally normal. And that's why you need to set a committed time, a committed amount that you're going to do this thing so that eventually you'll get to the other side of that. Like, oh, forget about the other people. Like, oh my gosh, this incredible tuna pickle olive potato sandwich that I got in Bilbao was amazing. And I kind of started forgetting about what else was going on. I love these little glasses that they serve the drinks in. They're so cute. I'm in the hot tub and I'm like, wait, is that Venus up in the sky, right? Or I'm on my bike ride and I'm like, oh, I can go slow, I can go fast. So if you can stick it out past that sort of transition space where you're not sure what you're doing, you're not totally comfortable, I promise you it will get better. I promise you it will get better. You can enjoy being yourself. One more piece that's important with this is to stay out of comparison. Especially as women, we have been raised in this culture, my US friends, to see being alone as less of value. One of the things I do is I call myself John. Like if I were John, I'm sorry, I just picked a generic white boy name, right? If I were John and I was the kind of guy who went to the redwoods by myself and took my bike and went on a bike ride, I would be totally cool. But as Kimberly, like it's so easy to go to the like, oh, what's wrong with you? Why don't you have a man or a group of friends? Why are you out in the world doing these things all alone? Social media obviously is the big pit hole of all of this, right? Social media is where all the comparisons are. So my friends, my dear ones, please stay off your phone, stay off the internet, put it away because it's so fast. It'll immediately, all you have to do is see one Facebook picture of your friends having a big dinner party that you didn't know about, or, one Instagram post about somebody you don't even know holding hands on a beach somewhere, and you will go back into those bad narratives, right? So staying out of comparison is really important. And one way that I stay out of comparison is I simply pretend to be somebody else, because then I'd be cool in my own mind. Like it's all socialization. It doesn't make any sense. It's not logical, right? So you can create an alter ego. You can be some, I don't know, badass from your fantasies. Just thinking a little bit more about like taking care of yourself and protecting yourself from this easy little slippery slope of comparison and judgment. So you're going to pick something that you really want to do. You're going to put it on the calendar and you're going to put some money down on it, right? You're going to like pay for it or buy the book, or even if it's just a symbolic amount of money, something small, so that you don't change your plans, so that you stay with yourself. You're going to set a time of duration, because anticipate that the first 10 minutes or the first hour, you might not feel comfortable, and say, I'm at least going to stay this long. I'm going to at least ride my bike 10 miles. I'm going to at least, right, commit to some amount there. And then one way or another, whatever brain games you're used to playing, think about how to take comparison out of the picture. So less social media, less on your phone, less like imagining a narrative in which you are a loser. And if that means turning yourself into someone else, that's fine. Turn yourself into someone else in your own head. There's this moment when we spend time with ourselves outside of pictures of ourselves and outside of posting on the internet, where being ourselves is just feels good. It just feels good. Like when you see a cat playing or a dog sleeping, like they're just in themselves. And what I would wish for you on your date with yourself is just to have a little bit of that, even if it's not the whole time, right? Just have a little bit of like, this is my body. This is what it feels like to be me. This is how I am as myself, in myself. All right, 4 steps. Number 5, commemorate this in some way. And what I mean by that is make something, write a little something down. You can make a little image or video or picture, like, this is me doing my thing. You don't have to share it with anyone, but really just as though you were going on a date with a friend, you would be like, let's take a picture of us. This was so great. You can commemorate the time that you spent with yourself, right? You can acknowledge it. You can make a little story. You can put it on a postcard that you would maybe send to yourself. So these are 5 little tips. I know I'm a little bit rushed here and I didn't go into all the detail. I'm a dating coach. I specialize in helping people have a much better relationship with themselves and with dating. There's a link down below. You can sign up for a free hour session. You can sign up for my newsletter. I have lots of ideas, tips, and tricks to really help you enjoy the process of dating, which also means sometimes being single and spending time by yourself and having adventures nonetheless. Mwah! Have a wonderful day.